Namaste, annyeonghaseyo. Welcome to Zing Reacts. I'm Zing, and today we're doing something from this is a new thing. I don't usually do this kind of stuff. So this is the theory behind Under the Skin music video that we reacted to from NT in connection to Dark Moon, the Grey City, and they are like this is kind of like a theory based on their album and requested by this user. So yeah, I don't usually do this, just letting you know, and it's quite long video as well, which is another reason why probably I don't. Let me just turn the volume down so it doesn't bother anyone, including me, so you can hear me as well. I'm not gonna pause in between much because
Hello and welcome back to Bookish Theories. In today's video, we'd like to talk about 10 themes under the skin, focusing on a little breakdown and
I
analysis
usually
of the
don't do
lyrics and the
this.
music video to see what they can tell us about the
Like I
concept and
said,
its connections to the upcoming storyline. Now, Under the Skin is a song that expresses the emotions of a person who doesn't fit into the world that surrounds them and is desperately looking for somebody to save them from their misery. In this touching debut, Entim tells the story of
yeah,
nine
we did
wolves
saw
who
that.
fittingly manage to find each other through their powerful howling, and in doing so, they are eventually able to create a pack where no one is left behind. Much like they
Yep,
anticipated in the trailer, there is no such a thing as a lone wolf, because in the pack everyone has a role to play, and every member can find a place where they truly belong. In more ways than one, Under the Skin portrays the origin story of this wolf pack, but also the contrasting emotions that led them to reach out and find each other to begin
do
with.
let me
In the
know
lyrics,
and
for
team
instance, the song focuses on
if Anteam is a J-pop label or a K-pop, because I know that Hype label is K-pop, but they are from their Japan label. So does that make them K-pop or does that make them J-pop? I think that makes them J-pop, and they sing in Japanese as well, right? Wait, let me just search it one more time. Because as much as I like to call them K-pop, I think they are J-pop more than K-pop. Cause see, Hype label Japan, so they Japanese group is not the first Japan-based group debut from Korean label, and they do sing in Japanese as well, right? So I don't know if that makes them K-pop or makes them J-pop. I mean, they are from a K-pop label, that's for sure, but they are from the Japanese branch of that K-pop
the
label. So does
loneliness
that
and
make them
desperation of
K-pop
somebody
or
who longs to
J-pop?
be loved and
I
understood,
have
but it
no
also
idea.
expresses the courage
They are
it
all
takes not
all
to blend in
Japan-based
just to
group.
pretend to be somebody that they are not. Under the Skin is a song that acknowledges the struggle of being different while also celebrating the strength it takes to be yourself and the joy you feel when you finally meet somebody that accepts you. To a certain extent, the song has the message that even if far away, there are people like you, so even if you might be lonely, that doesn't mean that you are alone. Now, this is also a concept that draws a lot of inspiration from the book Lone Wolf by Catherine Lasky, which, as it turns out, is also the book that Nicholas is reading in Under the Skin. Lone Wolf is
Uh,
the story of Faulan, a wolf pup who
I
is
make
abandoned
that
by
makes
his
sense.
pack because of a split paw, who is eventually saved by a she-bear called Thunderheart. Thanks to the bear's love and nurture, the pup is not only able to grow into a strong wolf, but is also able to strengthen the very weakness that caused him to be abandoned in the first place, and in a sense, this concept is referenced in our story just as well. If you remember back in the trailer, for instance, Arua's character told us that even someone as weak as him has a role to play, and thanks to the pack, he's able to become a better version of himself.
Mm,
Just like in the book, the support of Thunderheart helps Faulan grow into a strong wolf, in Entim, the support of the pack allows each member to grow and thrive. In Under the Skin, we see that the pack comes together by reaching out with an howl. This howl is like a message that means I'm right here, so it's like a signal that they want to be found because they essentially don't want to step out into this world by themselves. This is something that also takes place in the book because Faulan's first encounter with another wolf does take place in the form of an owl. In the book, Faulan is alone for the first time because Thunderheart went into hibernation. He never spoke to another wolf before, but when he hears the howling for the first time,
once he thought he heard something in the new light, a long melodious howl that inscribed itself in the darkness like a unfolding banner of song. It stripped him profoundly. It was new to him, yet oddly familiar. He left compelled howl in return. It was amazing to him that he perfectly understood the message embedded in the howl. I'm here. Okay,
immediately understands that it means I am here. The
it's from
howling
the
is a form
book.
of communication among wolves, so just like in the book, Fowl You probably noticed while watching the MV, Under the Skin is also part of Dark Moon The Grey City, which is the upcoming end-team storyline coming out in December 2022. As the title implies, the Grey City is set in the same Dark Moon universe as A Knife Ends the Blood Out. The Grey City will tell the story of the werewolves. As we see in a second, the video already draws some connections between the two because it school attended, but also because of a lot of details that they included in the back that it's city school. That is the same school attended by the wolves in A Knife and Story, and we can see that it's the same not only because of the name, but also because of a lot of details that they included in the background. If we take a look at the emblem, for instance, the wolf symbol is the same as the one that we saw in the past. It was on the uniforms worn by Kay and Iju back in Drunken Days, and it also showed up multiple times in the webtoon of the Blood Altar. The Nightbow uniform of the Sunshine City Wolves, moreover, is the same color as the one that we saw in the webtoon, not to mention that in the background we can also see that they won many championships like they told us back in the Blood Altar. All of this is to say that the Sunshine City school of the video is definitely the one that was already introduced in the other story. If you look closely, however, the video also introduces us to new locations, and this is because the Grey
I was
City
so
will
confused
not
with
be
that.
set in Riverfield, but rather in a completely different place. According to the information that we have so far, the Grey City will actually be a prequel to the Blood Altar, with the main plot taking place 20 years before the wolves settled in Riverfield. Set in the early 2000s, the Grey City will tell the story of how the pack came together as
Hmm.
brothers, different, and no one cares about each other. This is a lucky alley with
So this is
possibility in the
the part of Grey
background, but
City. This will tell the story of the brothers. We will finally know what happened there. Okay. Okay, that makes
which
sense.
by now I'm pretty sure is supposed to be Khan. In the Blood Altar, Khan is the captain of the Sunshine City Nightball team, as well as the alpha of the werewolf pack, but at this point we are not there just yet, because considering what we know so far, this is taking place at least a couple of decades before. In the scene, the alley is in disarray, and an injured Khan is crying over a man who is about to die. Back in the first trailer, the man told him that he shouldn't feel guilty, because it's only natural that a full-grown wolf looks after the pups. This conversation continues in the video itself, where the man says that no matter how afraid one is and how difficult it gets, when you have something to protect you have to be brave. Now this interaction is very interesting here, because even if at this point we don't have much context, we do have some clues that can help us understand what's going on. For one, the dying man is obviously somebody very precious to Khan, which makes me
Yeah.
think that he could either be an older brother or maybe
Who
even
try
the
to
alpha of a
protect him
pack
and
that
die
Khan
for
used
him.
to be a part of. Considering the conversation, the older wolf might have been injured to save Khan's
Yep.
life, and looking at the mess that surrounds them, whatever else in order to cause one serious duels or marks around town, none other than Taki and Yans were followed by the arrival. And if my
I'm
calculations
sorry if I'm skipping. I'm skipping something that's very obvious to me because it does repeat some stuff that I already know. So I'm
are
skipping those
correct,
parts. Okay.
then they
I
showed
hope
the
you would
trio,
mind.
Najak and Angie from the Blood Altar. Now, to be honest, in the video the three wolves initially look a bit sketchy, so much so that it almost seems like they are the ones attacking Khan, but the
I
way I
haven't
see
seen
it, this
this.
might actually not be the case. If you look closely, the location where we see the three wolves
The
looks
Dark
very
Moon.
similar
I
to
haven't
the
seen
place where
this.
Khan is getting bullied in Under the Skin. And if this is the case, then maybe they will be the ones saving Khan is getting bullied in Under the Skin. And if this is the case, then maybe they will be the ones saving Khan from the people that want to hurt him.
I
Whether
think
this has
so.
something to do with the death of the other wolf is very difficult to say at this point, or some tension. Either way, it seems that Khan was involved into something that might have caused the death of his loved one, and even if the wolf told him not to feel guilty, it's pretty obvious
Yeah,
that he
it's pretty
does.
obvious
In
when
Under
once, especially after you say that, the other person definitely feel
the
guilty.
Skin, the memory of that
That's just
event
like
haunts
a
the Sunshine City
this is
over
the hey,
again, to the
don't
point
cry,
that he
and
still
after that you
has
just start
flashbacks
crying.
about it while practicing at the Sunshine, something that still makes him suffer. Before we get to present day, however, Under the Skin also gives us a general overview of the events that we'll see in the Grey City. As the years go by, for instance, we see that before getting to Riverfield, some of the boys actually attended another Pentagon school with grey and green uniforms. So for now, we can see an emblem shaped like a pentagon with a G inside of it. So for now, my best guess is that this is the high school that they attended back in Greyville. During this period of time, we see that Kate's character is struggling a lot in school because he's being bullied, branded as a freak, and considered as a monster because he is a werewolf. Despite of his pain, however, we see that his friends are by his side immediately. So even if at this point the pack is incomplete just yet, we can already see how important their bond actually is. By the looks of it, different members joined the pack at different times. If we trust the concept film for instance, then the characters played by Taki, Nicholas and Iju were already together by the time they got to Greyville. Then they helped Kay, befriended Yuma and Maki, and at some point Fuma, Joe and Arua's characters eventually followed through. Now considering how much the story is focusing on Arua, it seems that moving forward they will play an important role, which is also something that the trailer itself literally spelled out.
Wow.
Back in that video we saw that he was the last one
I never
joining the
knew like
pack, but whether this will be the case or
sometimes
not in the
albums can
story
go
as
this
well,
deep,
they're
and it
definitely
should be
going
like
out
this
of their
only.
way to
But
highlight this.
all these past years, just watching some album that doesn't make sense, I have forgotten that this is how supposed to be. This album is a story that artists portray throughout songs.
Character
But
just as
the
much as
meaning
they're
has been
doing with
lost
Kay.
since the
Back in the
new
juvenile
upcoming music
concept,
these
for
days. People
instance,
don't
every
really
clip was
portray
dated
stuff,
June
they just
19th to
make stuff.
2003, but Arua's video kept glitching from 2003 to 2002 to 2005. This is interesting because in Under the Skin is the one recording the videos, just like in the trailer it was the lone wolf narrating his journey to find his pack. In the MV we can see that Arua's character has been videotaping for a long time. We can see tapes from the 90s, the early 2000s, all the way to
Wow.
2020, so this could mean that the story will focus a lot on his journey to find his pack. Even if we still don't know why, the way Kay and Arua are presented on screen is very similar, and this could possibly mean that their stories moving forward might have a lot of things in common. In a way, this is also similar to what takes place in Lone Wolf, because in the book, when Thunderheart saves Fowlan, they both needed each other to overcome a trauma. But the little wolf was left to die but really wanted to live. When they found each other, their bond allowed the both of them to push forward in order to overcome the shadows of their past. As I mentioned earlier, whatever happened in Greyville followed Khan until present day, but thanks to the pack he's able to push through and overcome his guilt. In a very important scene, for instance, we see that when Khan is remembering the past, Yuma's character notices what's going on and immediately calls him to get his attention. Since they became brothers from the same pack, they all support each other when they are in pain, and this is
That's
a
true. Like
concept that
when
is
you are
also
in pack,
reinforced with yet another
you support
detail.
each
If you
other.
look closely, for instance, we see that the
Even though
motto
you
of the
hate it,
Sunshine
you
City
support it.
School is actually Sol Lucet Omnibus. This is a Latin phrase that literally means the sun shines for everyone, but as a matter of
Wow, the sun shines, and there is a sunshine right here in the name as well. So that's probably like,
fact, this sentence has a much deeper meaning. You see, in ancient times, that was a saying that meant that everybody is equal under the sun. We all have the right to our own ray of sunshine, and no injustice or greed can take the light away, to the point that when he was suffering, Kay was actually surrounded by a black void. When the darkness surrounded him, however, it was the pack itself that became that light, and the same thing happened to
oh,
Arua's
that what that
character
scene
just
means.
as well. Even if the sun is for everyone, it's not always day, and fittingly enough, the night is darkest when there is a dark moon. When
Mm-hmm.
darkness takes over, it's the bond of the pack that brightens the way, and in a sense, this wolf bond is symbolized by the full moon, which incidentally also shines because it reflects the light of the sun. In the pool scene, for instance, we see that when Joe is in the water by himself, Kay chooses that light. He takes a leap of faith to follow the moonlight and
Oh,
goes
this
into
is
the
the scene.
water
Yep.
to reach out. In a sense, that's him following the howling and stepping out to find people like him. Embracing the
Mm,
moonlight also means embracing the pack, thus
okay.
saving Joe and himself in the process. By the end, we see that every member of the pack takes the same leap of faith. They all jump into the water and they all open their eyes into the darkness to find each other. As the
Mm,
older wolf told Kay at the beginning, when you have something to protect, you have to be brave. You
yep.
cannot be scared because wolves need one another to survive. So
True.
at the end, we see Kay and Joe holding each other's hands to show that the pack will always be there for one another. Even if Enteam's debut album is called The First Howling Me, that first howling is meant for that me to become a we. It's meant for them to find a pack to always rely on, and by the end, it seems that they actually succeeded. To see how the story will unfold from this moment on, we'll have to wait and see, but in the meantime, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and if you did,
It was
please
very,
think about
very,
liking and subscribing. As
it was very, what you call it, informative for sure. I usually don't do this stuff. I don't go to an album history unless, I have never, to be honest. Only one that I did was Shenliu, and that's also because someone sent me the details from a to a letter, and I read that letter, and that's how I know about the history of that album. But I usually don't do this. I let myself watch it and hear it and then feel the story itself. I think that's the best way. I don't usually go and try to find the story. I let the artist tell me whatever I can hear, I can feel, I can see. That's what I get, and that's what I keep. I don't keep anything other than that. But yeah, that was really good. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you're watching it, thank you so much. I'll see you guys next time with another video, and we will surely do when Ant Team um release their new song. Also, do let me know, guys. Is Ant Team a J-pop or K-pop? Because I really wonder when I want to know exactly what should I represent them as. Like they're full Japan based that sings in Japan and came from the Japanese label of Hype labels. So are they J-pop or are they still K-pop? Let me know what exactly that makes them. I'll see you guys next time. Bye bye. Mata ne.